One man struck with his spade at an enemy clump, did not draw it back from the water quickly enough. In a trice, the wooden shaft swarmed with upward scurrying insects. With a curse, he dropped it into the ditch. Too late. They were already on his skin. They lost no time. Wherever they encountered bare flesh, they bit deeply. A few, bigger than the rest, carried in their hind quarters a sting which injected a burning and paralyzing venom. Screaming, frantic with pain, the peon danced and twirled like a dervish. Realizing that another such casualty, yes, perhaps this alone, might plunge her men into confusion and destroy their morale, Lady Leiningen roared in a bellow louder than the yells of the victim. "Into the petrol, idiot! Douse your paws in the petrol!" The dervish ceased his pirouette as if transfixed, then tore off his shirt and plunged his arm and the ants hanging to it up to the shoulder in one of the large open tins of petrol. But even then the fierce mandibles did not slacken. Another peon had to help him squash and detach each separate insect. Distracted by the episode, some defenders had turned away from the ditch, and now cries of fury, a thudding of spades, and a wild trampling to and fro showed that the ants had made full use of the interval, though luckily only a few had managed to get across. The men set to work again, desperately with the barrage of earth and sand. Meanwhile, an old Indian, who acted as medicine man to the plantation workers, gave the bitten peon a drink he had prepared some hours before, which, he claimed, possessed the virtue of dissolving and weakening ants' venom. Lady Leiningen surveyed her position. A dispassionate observer would have estimated the odds against her at 1,000 to 1. But then such an onlooker would have reckoned only by what he saw, the advantage of myriad battalions of ants against the futile efforts of a few defenders, and not by the unseen activity that can go on in a woman's brain. For Lady Leiningen had not erred when she decided she would fight elemental with elemental. The water in the ditch was beginning to rise. The stronger damming of the river was making itself apparent. Visibly, the swiftness and power of the masses of water increased, swirling into quicker and quicker movement its living black surface, dispersing its pattern, carrying away more and more of it on the hastening current. Victory had been snatched from the very jaws of defeat. With a hysterical shout of joy, the peons feverishly intensified their bombardment of earth clods and sand. And now the wide cataract down the opposite bank was thinning and ceasing, as if the ants were becoming aware that they could not attain their aim. They were scurrying back up the slope to safety. All the troops so far hurled into the ditch had been sacrificed in vain. Drowned and floundering insects eddied in thousands along the flow, while Indians running on the bank destroyed every swimmer that reached the side. Not until the ditch curved towards the east did the scattered ranks assemble again in a coherent mass. And now, exhausted and half-numbed, they were in no condition to ascend the bank. Fusillades of clods drove them round the bend towards the mouth of the ditch, and then into the river, wherein they vanished, without leaving a trace.